Couldn't argue that anymore with y'all. The amount of enjoyment you can get from embracing the fact that you control nothing is something so special. Good morning, y'all. We are in Charleston, South Carolina today. It's just me, just my camera, and just this city that I haven't been to since 2015. Excited to be back, excited to explore, and excited to create. So we're headed to this place called Folly Beach, which was one of the places I went to when I was here 5 years ago. And I tried to do this seascape type photo with this really cool boardwalk they have, and I failed. So today we're gonna try to get redemption on that. So much beautiful stuff to photograph out here, an amazing day. Paid for 2 hours of parking, so I'm gonna walk around, do some street photography. Y'all know the goal is always to try to get one photo that I'm happy with. Gonna keep that as the goal today. Hopefully more than one, but as long as we get one good one, that's all that matters. So I definitely like it out here. It has a real kind of Cape Cod, Joel Meyerowitz type vibe. If you've ever been to an East Coast beach, they're their own special thing. I'm not gonna say that they're ugly, but they have their own vibe for sure. I mean, how many beaches have you been to where there's a crane, 2 cranes actually, on the beach doing construction? So the shot I wanted to get today didn't work. So like most photography trips, I've talked about this with y'all before, I'm gonna take the afternoon off just because the lighting isn't very good, but the lighting was pretty fire inside, so I did make some interior photos of the hotel to put on Instagram. We're at the Hotel Emmeline in South Carolina. This place is fantastic. It's beautiful in here. Highly recommend it if you're gonna come to South Carolina. And also we're right in the middle of everything, so doing street photography later today is gonna be super easy. Yo, I live for this right now. 50-mile run, historic Charleston. Let's get it, baby. So this stretch of houses, I think is called like Rainbow Row or something like that. I can't really remember. It's got some name. The architecture here is really cool for the most part. So many of these like colorful, I don't know if you could call it Victorian. I don't know shit about history. I just know it looks cool. If you're gonna come to Charleston, I don't think you need to be here for more than like 2 days like I am, but it's definitely worth checking out if you've never been. You know, I love doing these trips where I'm traveling alone, and it's something I recommend to everyone at least once. Get out on a trip by yourself. You just get to know who you are. You have so much time to think, from the drive here that took 5 hours to just today, me having these moments in between doing photos where I just sit down and think. You untie so many mental knots. And I figured out a bunch of stuff that I've been thinking about for quite some time today. And tonight I'm gonna sit down and write down a bunch more of this stuff to talk to y'all about. But for now, we got the 35 Summicron on here. Switched over to this because the pictures, they're just too nice. Even though I gotta manually focus it, the colors, everything, it just looks great. So back in the car and the sun is going down, we got the vibes right, and there is only one song that is appropriate for an Oceanside drive right now with the windows down. Tell me what you know about this.
Leo's dream, Sean John suit in the S dot ring, Sean down for my crew.
It's nice out here. So I'm gonna enjoy this next hour for myself. Just chill out. Any of the good photos I'll throw up on the screen for y'all. But we got enough video footage, so I'm gonna just relax and enjoy this. So briefly, I want to thank the sponsor on today's video, Canva, for making this trip possible. Canva is the ultimate tool for content creators, social media enthusiasts, small business owners, marketing agencies, and in-house marketers. I've used Canva for years to create invoices using their templates, but they've recently added so many great video tools for creators. And y'all know video does so much better on social media than static photos. I've talked about that a million times. Canva offers thousands of design templates for social media posts as well as presentations. I've told y'all before, a great way to get started with any creative project or any creative industry is to have a proof of concept, and that's actually what this trip is for me. I'm going to take all these photos, create a Canva presentation of all the hotel images and everything I made in Charleston, and now when I travel to new places, I'll be able to send this presentation to potential clients, and you can do the exact same thing with whatever idea you have. So Canva is free for everyone, but a pro account is the way to go because you get access to everything Canva has to offer. So you can jump to the link in the description on today's video and you can try out Pro for free for 45 days. So big thank you to Canva for sponsoring today's video and helping me create stories that are designed to move. So I realized I never gave y'all a little hotel tour. So this is the living room right here. Love this little color scheme we got going on. Obviously we're in a bathroom, it is what it is. And then this is the bedroom right here, same color scheme. So last night I wrote down a bunch of thoughts about traveling alone, kind of what this trip was a good reminder of. But it's funny, I was reflecting on the first time I ever traveled by myself. It was in 2015. I went to New York on a trip just like this. And I was reflecting on it because this trip was so much fun. I was so happy and enjoyed it. Whereas on that New York trip, I was miserable. I was super anxious. I was uncomfortable. I think uncomfortable would be the best way to describe it. And it makes me happy and it feels good to know that 5 years later I'm able to do a trip like this and I don't have any of those feelings. I'm very comfortable with myself. And I'm not exactly sure what the reason behind that is. That trip was tough because there was a big snowstorm in New York. I wasn't able to be around any other people. And it made me pay attention to the fact that, hey, you're stuck with yourself for 2 days. You better like the person you're stuck with. And maybe that was the source of the anxiety. I don't really know. But some of the stuff I wrote down is when you travel alone, you're writing your own story and embrace that. Let's write this new adventure today. And that's maybe one way you can alleviate some of that anxiety is you just get in the moment and lock into it and focus on what's making you happy at that time. Traveling is about people. Go to public places, get dinner at a bar, chat with people, be connected. And I think as an artist, connection to people will always give you inspiration. And that's something that I found especially true on this trip. You know, over the years, I've gotten a lot better at this, but comparing this to that New York trip, I don't think I spoke to one random person in New York. Now, granted, Charleston versus New York, two completely different places. You know, New York people aren't as friendly as down here, but you learn so much from just opening up and having conversations with people that you're actually probably never going to see again. And who knows, you might make a friendship or a relationship with someone that you do see again. But for the most part, getting around people is one of the best ways to inspire yourself. Next is don't lose sight of how much there is in the world. You're small, enjoy it. You know, it's easy to get overwhelmed by everything happening in your life and thinking that you are the center of your universe, which in your head you definitely are. But for me, I think every time I travel like this, every time I do something like this, I come home with a fresh perspective, and every time I can keep that perspective a little bit longer. So going home with this one, I'm gonna try to keep it even longer and remind myself, hey dude, don't stress yourself out too much. It's really not that big of a deal. And if you remove yourself from this universe that you're so locked into, there's a completely separate one out there that no one even knows who you are. So next up, learn to find excitement in uncertainty. It's what makes life special and real. Couldn't argue that anymore with y'all. The amount of enjoyment you can get from embracing the fact that you control nothing is something so special. And now granted, not everything goes the way you plan. Life is not perfect, but that is what makes it fun. If everything was perfect, it's gonna be boring, right? So keep that mindset, embrace uncertainty, and don't try to micromanage and control everything too much. You know, maybe that was part of the reason why that New York trip, I was having such uncomfortable feelings, is because I just wasn't going with the flow and letting things happen. And last one is you define what fulfills you. For me, that's creativity and pictures. It makes me feel good, so I can feel good about myself in any situation. And running is kind of the same way too. You all saw how happy I was in that running clip. That wasn't fake. Like, I literally will go on runs and I'll be smiling and just be happy, especially in a place that I don't know. You know, what better way to explore a new city than go on a run and go out and walk and take pictures? So for me, that fulfillment brings value to who I am. And I can take that with me anywhere. I can never lose that value. I can never lose that sense of self and that feeling good and that feeling happy about the person that I am. So find that thing for yourself. It might be pictures if you're on this channel. It might be filming a travel video. It might be, I don't know, just going on runs. It might be going on walks. It might be drawing, painting, writing in your journal. Doesn't matter. Finding that thing though, for me, in my opinion, it makes life a lot easier and it makes you a lot more adaptable. But what do I know? Y'all have always heard me say this. I'm just a guy who talks on the internet and shares my thoughts with y'all. If you enjoyed today's video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, let me know where I should go next. I'm gonna try to be a little more frequent with travel now that life is getting back to normal. Stay tuned.